Man, mental health is not addressed enough, number one.
Word.
It's a serious situation dealing with police officers. I always say that police officers are schizophrenic. You wake up in the morning, you kiss your family, your wife goodbye. You do your normal chores for that morning or afternoon shift. You leave, then you transition to a job. You change into a uniform. You put on a gun belt. You stand in roll call and now being inspected to make sure you have your proper equipment on for the day. You go in and then sit in roll call, and your supervisor now tells you there's been so many homicides, DUIs, look out for this stolen car. This is what's going on for the day. You get in your police car, immediately out of roll call could be a homicide, domestic violence, auto accident, and you taking care of all that in the shift starting out the gate. And you deal with that as the day goes, and they expect you to be able to just shake that off, come back the next day, go home to your family and act normal. And this is why mental wellness is so deep that the police departments are not taking it serious enough.
Bro, that sounds like the first 2 hours of my shift.
Yeah.
The 12-hour shift. That sounds like the first 2 hours. What about you, Sheed?
Yeah. Been in several situations where, I went to, I was actually minding my business, a sheriff deputy here in Indianapolis. I was working here in Indianapolis during that time. I saw him blow past me with no lights on. His emergency equipment was not on. And then within about 10 seconds, I heard him on the radio, like frantic. And I'm like, what is this? So I busted a U, got behind him. He didn't hit a cat. All I saw the guy on the ground. I didn't want to look at him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I saw the sheriff's vehicle. The windshield was crushed in, so where the guy came in on the passenger side. And it turned out to be a FTO training a rookie. Rookie was eating damn turkey Reuben. So the body comes in on him.
Wow.
While he's eating a sandwich, and flips over the light bar, busts the light bar, and he's dead, right? So, I checked on the deputy. I'm like, yo, what's y'all good? And he's in shock. And I go look at the body, and it's like, yo, I've never seen a body at that point in my career. I had never seen a body that badly destroyed. Yeah, it was. When the fire department came, one of the lieutenants got on the radio and said, hey, we need a light truck, the light wagon, because there's pieces we can't find. It was bad. And I can remember driving home, not even having home, because I was still on shift. So I remember driving away from that scene.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize, but I was only driving 30 miles an hour. I looked at it, and I just realized I was in a zone. I was just stuck. And I looked down, yeah, man, I'm driving 30. I'm going to speed up a little bit. And then I was expected to continue my shift, after seeing a human being done that way and expected to do my shift. And I think I want to say to take a break. They're like, yo, we got calls pending. And that was continue to perform, continue to work.
On that note, for both of you guys, how as a supervisor, how should we, when our officers experience this tragedy that we see on a daily basis, like it's normal, like we watching TV, how do we get help for our officers? How do we do that?
First of all, most departments these days have things in place as far as counseling and things like that. They have peer counseling, where it's just, officer to officer. Then they have professionals also that counsel. But I think, as especially a first line supervisor, when you realize that and you see that in your officer, pull. I don't care how many calls you got pending. I don't care what you got going on. You take the time to pull him offline. Go ahead and down that gear. Let's go talk about it. Give him some days if he needs it. Because he's spazzing out, he's upset and roll call, something's going on. Right. Sometimes you don't even let him start the shift.
Right.
And then you do report that. Like you cannot, back in the day, again, like we said earlier in another episode, they sweep it under the rug. But these days you gotta report that, because suicide amongst, law enforcement personnel is high.
Stupid.
And how would you feel, when I see you you one of my guys, and I see, man, this is in a bad way today. And I'm like, man, but he's a trooper. He gonna get through with his strong brother. He gonna make it through. And then brother go home, and then we get that call, killed himself.
Right. But most of the time, and that's why I mentioned that police officers are the biggest mask wearers, cover-up artists, specialists you've ever seen. Because how often does an officer actually say, man, I need help?
Right.
So if they don't tell a supervisor they need help and the supervisor flags them the wrong way, then that supervisor can be liable for just saying, hey, I'm taking you off because I feel you acting like this, and the person saying, what you talking about? I'm good to go.
Right.
And so that's the problem that you really see is officers able to mask and cover this whole process up, that they screaming for help and they don't know really how to go about it because it shows that you weakness.